Hey YouTube, welcome back to Hills and Hollers Homestead. Mike again, and I got a couple issues. I got more than a couple, trust me. All right, so my 5-gallon waters in my chicken coops. This is what they are. The lid has a seal on it, acts as a suction. When you fill these up, this is a holder for the little cap. The cap comes off the bottom here, and it allows water to come out into the drinking tray until it reaches a certain depth, and then of course it creates suction as it pulls down and it'll stop. The problem is I've got these suspended hanging from hooks, and as soon as the chicken hits it or the chickens hit it and they slide the hook over to one corner or the other and this thing gets off balance, as you can see, it just dumps water all over the floor. It'll just completely empty onto the floor. So I think I've got an idea how to fix that. It's going to involve some hose clamps, maybe a couple little pieces of wood, but I don't want to drill a hole through that plastic and put that through there and end up breaking that handle, because I need that lid. That lid has to stay on there. It's part of how the thing functions. But it happened on both sides. Now, if I haven't showed you guys these before, and I think I may have, this is the Run Chicken brand. These are the automatic coop doors. These are aluminum. They're all aluminum. And they're set on a daylight timer where they have a little eye on them. So when it gets a certain amount of light, that thing will automatically open. When it gets dark, it'll automatically close. And that's why I have them turned. They typically face outside, but that's why I have them turned inside with the lights on a timer in here. That way, they come on, the lights come on at 5:15 every morning, so those doors will raise shortly thereafter. And when the lights go off at 8 o'clock, those doors will close, and they close at the same time pretty much. Now we come over here to the other side of the coop. This is the Delaware broiler side. And as you can see, same problem. They knock that daggone thing off center, and it leans to one side or the other, and it just dumps all of its water. So I'm going to have to fix that. And I really wish the manufacturer that would see this and say, hey, maybe that's a problem we could fix by incorporating a groove or something in there so you can suspend them, because you know as well as I do. Now look at this. This thing's sitting 6 inches off the floor, and it's already starting to fill up with freaking wood chips or pine chips, because where these knuckleheads are flopping around. So that's why I don't set them on the floor. They just get so nasty. So I prefer to suspend mine. So what I did was I went ahead and ordered another one of the Run chickens for this side. Now these things are, I hate to tell you, they're 160 bucks each, but they are worth it. It takes one AA battery that will, I think 1 or 2 AA batteries that it comes with, and they'll last a year. I went cheap and bought one for 50 bucks, and it's all plastic, flimsy as all get out. So it's got plastic door, plastic frame, and a plastic gear, and guess what doesn't work? So 50 bucks wasted. It is almost the exact identical setup as the Run chicken, but this is all plastic, very lightweight. A Predator could get through that if they wanted to. They're not getting through that. That's like, I think it's aircraft grade aluminum that those are made of, and yes, that one's camo. So if you want to put an automatic door on your coop, honest to goodness, I don't have to come out here to do anything. I don't have to let my chickens out. I don't have to lock them up at night. It's all taken care of. They know when to come in and when to go out. All I got to do is come out and feed and water them every once in a while. So now, get that out of the way. Stand by a second. Okay, 16% layer feed, 16% protein. I use the pellets because there tends to be less waste with these. I have a 40-pound feeder in there that I fill up, and I use the pellets, and there's less waste with these than there is with the crumbles. Now, I can pick out a little piece of corn right there, but other than that, I really can't identify anything else in that mess. All I know is there's a whole bunch of stuff in there formed and pressed into these little pellets. And that's what I feed my chickens. And again, it's 16% protein. And that's your standard run-of-the-mill, find at the local store, you know, Tractor Supply, Rural King, Southern States. It's pretty much what you get unless you get a chick grower or a game bird feeder or the all flock, which is a little higher protein content. But, so, why am I bringing that up? Well, there's a couple reasons why I'm bringing this up about that. Because 16% is the lowest. That is the minimum amount of protein you want to feed your chickens. Egg layers, okay? Now, when I move and pick my birds that I'm going to put out on the grass to raise for meat birds, they're going to get probably an 18%, maybe even a 20% while they're out on grass. And that's because they're going to be raised as a broiler and that's what we're going to raise the protein content for them. But as far as the chickens go, I'm going to go with, and I've been watching YouTube and listening and learning and just following what a lot of folks are doing, and it's actually saving them some money. So if they, depending on how many chickens they have, a standard commercial feed bought in 50-pound bags is going to cost them 25 cents a pound per bird, depending on how many birds they have. Where they're doing their own mix at home, and it's 23 cents a pound per bird. And when you figure that into it, at 2 cents, depending on how many birds you got, that's going to save a lot of money in the long run. Not immediately, but you'll see some savings. Anyways, you're saving some money. You're sticking it to the man. Cough. But also, like I said, I can identify little bits and pieces of corn in there. I know that's soy heavy. All animal feeds, or almost nearly all of these animal feeds, are soy heavy. That's where what they use to get their high protein content. The pigs, they are getting fed a 16% pig grower. Well, they don't need to be growing anymore, do you? 'Cause I'm a big boy, aren't I? So I'm actually going to cut them down to about a 14%, what they refer to as a pig finisher. And again, we're running into the soy issue. And the reason I want to get away from soy, when we started raising our meat birds a couple years ago, the big thing that, and I asked a bunch of people, I was all over social media, I asked my friends, I asked other people who raise and sell, process and sell chickens. I mean, I went all over the place. And the big thing was people wanted no soy, non-GMO. They wanted the pasture raised, and they preferred, or they insisted on, no soy, non-GMO. Talking to people who sell at farmers markets in the state, that's what everybody wants. Is there any soy in this feed, or is it non-GMO? Well, unless you drive from my place 5.5, 6 hours over to Virginia, you're not going to get the non-GMO for anything close to a decent price. And most of the local guys around here, it's all GMO. And so what I decided is, so that's why we went, when we started raising our meat chickens to begin with, was we went non-soy, no GMO. We're eating it. A couple of friends who share costs with us and get some chickens, they're eating it. That's what they preferred as well. So we went that route. Well, now I'm raising pigs, and we're raising them in the woods. We're letting them forage and root and eat what they're supposed to be doing. We're raising chickens for eggs, and we're going to breed and incubate eggs, and we're going to mix and see what we can develop as a good chicken for us. You know what I mean? So, and I've told you guys this before in previous videos, so I'm just kind of rambling here. Anyways, what I'm looking for is to go non-GMO. Now, specifically with my chickens, it's going to be whole clean oats, whole corn, and cracked corn. It's going to be, I'm trying to remember the list here. Millet, sunflower seeds, black oil sunflower seeds, and, oh my God, flaxseed. Jeez, oh whiz, I'm telling you. And then, of course, I'm going to, increase, give them I'm going to get some oyster shells. I'm going to free feed them oyster shells and free feed them grit and stuff like that. And I may need to even put a little bit of pelletized or feed grade lime in with it to get the calcium in there. But you want to be careful with that, because egg eating little sucker. I caught a hen with an egg in her mouth that they'd already busted, or I probably stepped on, so I really can't blame them for that. Because I haven't got my nesting boxes in there yet. Anyways, another project for the weekend. So anyways, you don't want your roosters getting a whole bunch of calcium, because I think that can, if I read right, that can cause some problems with their gizzard if they eat it for over a longer period of time. So anyways, we're going to go with no soy as the base, and whole grains, whole 100% identifiable grains. So that video will be coming up, because I went and I'm going to go pick up a old big chest freezer, deep freezer, and that's what I'm going to start mixing and keeping my feed in. And then with the pigs, I called a, yeah, scared me too. You threw mud clear over here, pig backed into the freaking electric fence. Hey, don't get mad at her, you're the dummy who did it. I think my other girl's in season here, so the Barrows are, even though they can't do it, they're still wanting to. Anyways, all right, so no soy. We're going to go with no soy. So I called the feed mill, and they must both be in heat, because he just went after the other one. So sorry, dude. Hey, get your nose out of there. That's how he ended up backing into the fence. He walked around behind her to stick his nose in there. Anyways, that's what you get for putting your nose where it don't belong. But anyways, to get a no soy for my pigs, we're going to go with field peas, which he doesn't usually carry, but he said he'll see if he can find a good reliable source of them. And then if he can, I'm going to buy a ton of pig feed at a time. We'll build our feed from there. So that gets me out of the soy game. And if you look at a lot of this commercial feed, everything is either chemically extracted, or it's processed this way to remove this, or this is added in this way to get this kind of benefit from it. It's just too refined. I mean, it's just as refined as a box of whatever you pick up at Walmart that says, whole grain or whatever, but it's really not. So feeding my pigs a healthier diet and letting them root like they're supposed to and forage like they're supposed to. I'm gonna get the heck shark out of me here in a minute. I can see it coming over. Then we're going to have a healthier product in the end. Now, why am I so anti-soy? Well, I'm not truly anti-soy, but being in a profession that I'm in and reading, researching, and learning stuff over the years, one of the things that's come to light is soy is used in nearly every kind of food as a filler or a base. That's human food, that's pig food, that's chicken feed, all kinds of livestock feed. And the problem with that is people, because it's used so heavily and in so many products, there are people who have developed soy sensitivities and true soy allergies just because it's used so heavily. And even though they say that the soy doesn't translate into the carcass, which means they cannot find traces of soy in the carcass or the eggs of the animals, that people who ingest those eggs or eat those carcasses and stuff like that on a heavily soy fed animal, they have reactions in their sensitivities spike because of that. So there is something to it. So I would prefer no soy myself, and there are people out there that's hard to find food for them that doesn't have soy in it. So it's not a marketing ploy. It's just something I learned and something I would much rather get back to and kind of stick with in the long run. So we're going to be working towards that, and I will keep you guys updated. As soon as I had to order the flaxseed and I had to order the millet, if you decide to do something like we're going to do, I'm going to tell you now, and I'll try to remind you in the next video, is you definitely want to call around, even if you got to drive 20 miles farther, because 16 miles from me, I found a 50-pound bag of flaxseed for $55. 16 miles the other way, it was $85. So huge $30 price difference from one side to the other. So you definitely want to do your research and call around and get prices if you want to do this. And like I said, your flaxseed, you're only going to do 10 pounds per 100. Your millet, you're only going to do 10 pounds per 100. And then, your whole corn, your cracked corn, and all the other stuff, the oats and stuff like that, are generally not terribly priced right now. But if I can save a couple cents per pound per chicken, hey, I'm saving money nonetheless. But all right, so I got to feed the pigs. Get his butt in the electric fence. That was pretty funny. He flung mud everywhere. Anyways, okay, so we'll follow up on that. I got a busy day tomorrow. Thank God it's the weekend. Thank God we have a little bit of blue sky here, because honest to goodness, I mean, there's been breaks in the clouds and a little bit of sun, but for 2 weeks it has been heavy cloud cover, gray, no sunshine, rain, just miserable. So if you've got seasonal affective disorder, this is not the place you would want to be, and we're definitely at risk for it because it's been terribly gray here for 2 weeks. So thank God to see the sun today, and I'm sad to see it going down. But colder weather in the future, or in the forecast for the next 10 days. Got some snow, might have a white Christmas. We'll have to see. I'll get you guys on the next video. Get prepared, stay prepared, take care, and God bless.